Our first guest tonight is a very gifted man who's been called many things, including Gaylord Fokker, Derek Zoolander, the guy who got his scrotum stuck in a zipper. He is the producer and director of the great show Severance. Season 1 is on Apple TV Plus now. Please welcome Ben Stiller. Very good to see you.
Thanks, man. Great to be here.
You are so talented. It's almost depressing, I have to say.
Please, thank you. That's very nice of you. I'm happy to be part of your Brooklyn thing.
I'm happy you're here.
I have like so many Brooklyn connections. I grew up in Manhattan, but I have so many Brooklyn connections.
What are your Brooklyn connections?
Well, my dad grew up in Brooklyn. My mom was born in Brooklyn.
Oh, that's a good connection, yeah.
One of the first things I ever directed was Colin Quinn's special, Back to Brooklyn. So he was doing remote control back, this is back on MTV in the early days, and we did a parody of Going Back to Cali called Going Back to Brooklyn. The great and I think wildly underappreciated Colin Quinn, one of the funniest guys in the whole world. So funny. Yeah, I'm going back to Brooklyn, Brooklyn. I'm going back to Brooklyn. I don't think so.
Yeah. I was thinking, when we do this show in New York, we want to get people who really represent the city, and there's nobody, I think, that is more a New Yorker than you are. I mean, you've lived here your whole life, right?
I have. Well, not my whole life. Thank you. Well, before you applaud, I moved to California for 20 years.
Oh, 20.
I lived in LA for 20 years and then came back about 13, 14 years ago.
I wish I'd known this beforehand.
Yeah.
I never would have asked you to come.
I'm sorry. Am I disqualified? Do I have to go? But yeah, and I grew up in the city, and then when we came back, we got a house out in Westchester, in the suburbs, because I just loved the idea of the suburbs. I was just fascinated, because I grew up in New York, so it was just like this ideal.
Romanticized the suburbs, huh?
And it's funny, though, because out there, it's very, it's bucolic, and I grew up with, things like, I remember rats on the street. We all know rats on the street in New York. Cockroaches, and out there, you get things like an infestation of ladybugs.
Is that true?
Yeah, we had ladybugs in the house, and for a while, I thought it was cute before I thought it was disgusting.
Oh, you made the turn.
Yeah, because they're really just they're bugs, and they have this cute little, they have polka dots, which is great. But, they really are, they're just and they fly around, and so I can't kill them because they're a ladybug.
Right.
So I flick them away to give them just sort of it's sort of like an intention to just leave, but like a serious intention. And, I think it's sort of their cuteness is sort of their Darwinian way of surviving. It
is, but it doesn't seem it seems like the only people who acknowledge that would be humans. Like other birds are not like, oh, that's too cute to eat.
I guess not. Yeah, and definitely it works with humans because you're not going to stomp. It's like stomping like a kid who has a polka dot umbrella.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So you're going to feel too guilty. So guilt is how they survive.
They're basically like a cockroach with a paint job.
Yeah,
really,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard you're working on a documentary about your parents.
Yes.
Jerry Stiller and Meara, great actors.
Actually.
Great people as well.
Yes.
I had the pleasure of meeting both of them, and really, really great people.
Yeah, they were amazing, and it's cool to have all this footage and just material of them, and I'm kind of in the middle of it, but just my dad recorded so much. He just would make audio recordings around the house all the time.
That's so great that he did that.
So he wouldn't tell us when he was doing it. Sometimes, so I have like stuff when I was younger, when I was 7, 8 years old, getting into arguments with my sister. He recorded conversations and rehearsals with my mom. That sometimes, their act was, they had an act together and they did Ed Sullivan, 30 times. And he would take their lives and the material that came out of their marriage and they would turn it into, comedy. So it's really interesting to see how the lines sort of blurred for them too in terms of real life and, their relationship and how they turned it into creativity. So
it's amazing, and it's very forward thinking. I mean, now people are like, they think of a joke, they put it on their phone, but your dad was doing that, he invented it, maybe.
Exactly, with like a giant, like a cassette recorder, or he had a reel-to-reel. I remember he had this amazing reel-to-reel tape recorder that I always said to him when I was a kid, like, when you die, can I have this tape recorder? And
you brought some video, some film that your dad shot, right?
He was my dad was always recording and always filming. He gave me my first Super 8 camera and got me into making movies, and he would film us all the time. And he was also very overprotective. So when I decided that I was going to go walk to school by myself for the first time when I was like in 3rd grade, he followed me in a car and shot footage of me walking to school on my own.
I think we have some of that.
Yeah. So this is literally me thinking that I'm on my own by myself in New York City, but Jerry Stiller is in a car with a Super 8 camera filming me. And
what year was that?
And that's probably like 1973, or that's our building, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. He literally, when he was doing that, a cop stopped him and said, why are you filming that child?
That's a good thing. Hey, listen, the cops were they were vigilant at that time.
Yeah.
How old are your kids now?
My daughter's 20 years old. My son's 17. My son Quinn is a huge Guillermo fan.
Oh, really? Oh, well.
Yeah, thank you. Every time I come, I have to get a picture.
Guillermo's clapping for himself. Yeah.
My daughter's 20. She's in drama school.
Really? Oh.
So this summer, my daughter's, she's in drama school. One of her classmates is British. She's in London and in Hyde Park. And she's in Hyde Park, and she sees this guy go by on a bicycle and sees something drop out of his pocket. So she goes up, she picks up the wallet. It's a wallet. She opens it up. She sees credit cards and a driver's license. It says Owen Wilson. So she goes to the English policeman, the Bobby or constable.
I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
And she says, hey, I just found, I think Owen Wilson dropped his driver's license and his credit cards. What should I do? And he says, maybe you should go on a spending spree. And she's like, well, I don't know, okay. She's not going to help her. So then she remembers, wait a minute. Ella, I think Ella's dad is friends with Owen Wilson. Maybe I'll call Ella. So she called Ella. Ella texted me, said, my friend just found your friend Owen Wilson's wallet. So I texted Owen, and I said, hey, if you want your wallet back, text me right away.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then like 5 minutes later, I get a text back, wow.
And he got his wallet back. Unbelievable. Ben Stiller is here. We'll be right back. Uh-oh. That is Severance, which you can see on Apple TV Plus. Ben Stiller, you directed that particular episode?
Yeah, that's the great Tremel Tillman doing that dance, and Adam Scott doing the best white man dance ever. Yeah, no, it's a weird show, and it's been a really fun experience.
It's a weird show. It's a great show. It's such a weird show, too. But it's absolutely great. And I tell people, like, you gotta, because the way it ends is so interesting. And I'm gonna tell you something. Do you look at, like, people's theories online?
Every once in a while, I'll dip in, but it's dangerous, because you can go down, you go, whoa, that guy's right. We should have done that.
I took the kind of the founder of this weird company is named Kier Egan, K-I-E-R-E-A-N. I spent a lot of time rearranging the letters to see if it meant anything, because I thought this is such a weird name, it's gotta mean something.
Yeah.
And the only thing I could come up with was IKEA anger.
I had not heard that one.
Is there a furniture assembly subplot that maybe we'll learn about? Be honest, you have to tell me if I've discovered this.
No.
Okay, all right.
But I really like that. I love your commitment to it and that you're so into it.
Have you started? I really haven't felt like about this like a show since Lost, I think, where I was trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it's interesting because there is a lot in there to figure out, but then it's also got space in there for people to kind of fill in their ideas and to theorize. And, you know, when you're making something like that, we were making it during COVID for, you know, a while, so we were in a bubble. We didn't even know if anybody was going to really watch it, so it's fun to see people really invest in it. And now this second season, we're just starting up the second season, you know, it's a different situation because we're just aware that people now have an expectation.
Right.
Okay, what does that mean? What does this thing mean?
Right, it makes it harder, I guess?
It's a little bit more pressure, I think, because you don't want to let people down. But it's also fun to know that there's an audience out there waiting to see it too.
I mentioned your New Yorkness a moment ago, and I would assume you know a lot about New York. So we thought it would be fun to let some people on the street ask you questions about New York. And would you be willing to accept this challenge?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have outside. We have people from the area.
Okay.
They're lined up. They have questions for you about the city. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go out to our first. Hi, what's your name and what is your question for Ben?
Hi, Ben. Hi, Jimmy. My name is Loretta James.
Hi, Loretta.
What's the best way to spend a free day in Brooklyn?
Okay. I think I would start with a nice walk through Prospect Park. Yeah. Through the Botanical Gardens,
Yes.
right? Yeah, and then maybe wrap it up with a nice slice of cheesecake at Junior's.
Classic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well done. Boy, you rattled that right off. All right, let's meet another New Yorker. We have, yes, hi there.
Hi, Ben.
Hey.
My name is Mike. Big fan.
Thanks, man.
I live on 11th Street between B and C and can't get my heat to work. Any suggestions?
Oh.
Do you live at 631 East 11th?
Wow, yeah, I do.
Apartment 4C?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So your landlord is Harry O'Reilly, which means that your radiator is McCready 328. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna see a small little brass pipe under the left side, okay, with a red valve. And you want to turn it 3/4 of an inch counterclockwise. You know what counterclockwise is? No, it's the other way.
Yeah,
the other way.
The other way,
Okay?
yeah.
Right, yeah, it's the other way. Okay, then you're gonna hear a hissing sound. When you hear the hissing sound, you're gonna wanna push the buttons in the following order. Okay? Off, high, on, low, high, low, low, cool, heat, off, high, high. All right? And then you wanna do elbow, elbow hit, and then give it a little hip thrust.
Wow.
Okay? Yeah. That's
Hey!
to stay with you.
Very specific question.
Yeah.
Oh, we have one more.
Another
All right,
city.
we have one more.
Hi, Ben.
Hey, man.
What's the best place to get a pizza in New York?
Okay, that's a good one.
That's a dangerous question.
I'm gonna have to say either Lucali. Yeah.
Great.
Or maybe F&F.
Great.
Or DeFara's. Or maybe I don't know, Paulie G's or L&B. L&B.
All great.
Yeah,
All right.
great. All great.
Thanks,
all great.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Kidding me? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
John,
No, I was on my vape break and I overheard some New York pizza misinformation. The answer is Ben. John's on Bleecker for the best pie. John's on Bleecker. What are you talking about?
Wow.
F&B. Shut up.
Spoken like someone who doesn't have the balls to cross the Willie B out to Brooklyn.
Doesn't have the balls. Doesn't have the balls. Benjamin, I take a cold plunge in the Hudson every morning. Don't tell me about balls.
Wow.
I got balls.
Hey, yeah, John, real brave to swim in the Hudson now that they've cleaned it. I was splashing around in that thing in the 70s. My first set of water rings was 2 dirty diapers.
I lost my virginity in a hot dog cart on the E train. Don't tell me about New York.
That sounds awful.
Hot dog water is surprisingly sensual, to be honest.
You know what? John, let's face it, you're from New Jersey. Okay? So come on, give me a break.
that is true.
You want to meet these fuckers? Let me tell you something, Ben. You keep Sweet Lady Jersey's name out of your dirty mouth. You hear me?
Hey.
Out of your dirty mouth. Ah!
That's so weird, John, because that's not what she said last night.
Shut up, man!
Guys, please. There's no need to fight. And also, I should point out, you forgot Joe's on Carmine.
Oh,
That's
please,
a
give me a break. That's
piece of
bullshit.
You don't know anything, Kimmel.
You flew in on your
What,
airplane
you
to
put that
Teterboro, New
slice
Jersey,
in your
probably. You
purse?
don't know New York
You
at
got
all.
no big
Free
son of
is
a
over.
bitch.
Go back to
You
work.
don't know
You're
anything.
vegan, aren't you? You don't even...
Severance is on Apple TV Plus right now. Ben Stiller, Jon Stewart,